welcome to another episode of You Know Ball.
Yes, sir. We're back.
Back after a fucking banger.
Mm-hmm.
The banger of the century.
Explain what happened.
Does this number sound familiar to you?
What number?
2.6. Thou wow.
It's at 2.6?
2.6. Thou.
Woo!
Come on, man.
2.6.
At this point, I've been saying this every episode of the podcast, so I hope we're here. I'm going to feel embarrassed. Mm-hmm. But we should be at 200 subscribers at this point. Last time I looked, we were at 198. I'm thinking we're at 199 now. But we should be at 200 subscribers by the time this comes out for sure. And if we're not, help us get there, man. Help us get to 200. Help us get to 250. Help us get to 3,000. Mm-hmm. Infinity by subbing to us on the YouTube channel. Phil, tell them what else they could do to help us out.
Help us get to infinity, but also make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Playbook Sports on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, or for the farmers real quick, X, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But yo, we're going to try to come with some live streams also on Twitch or YouTube. We're going
to be doing a college football stream. I don't know if it would have been done by the time this is out or if this is going to come out after, but expect college football, the game content somewhere. Sunday.
But like I said, bro, like, subscribe, and follow. Hit that bell, and let's get to it.
Let's talk about some losers. But yeah, so I cheated a little bit. I have 5 teams.
Whoa.
But 3 of them are in like one tier. I couldn't pick which one I want to take out. And I'll explain when we get there. But I'll start with my first team. And this is like my number 3. You know, realistically, there wasn't that many teams that lost this offseason.
Yes, sir.
And after kind of looking at this, I wouldn't necessarily say the Lakers lost. But I don't think you guys improved either.
Yeah.
So I think there was a big expectation for the Lakers this offseason, like there's every year. And to me, 2 years, 100 for LeBron kind of seems like an overpay. I know he said he's getting a pay cut, but I just don't know if he's still worth that. Max Christie, 4 years, 32. That seems like an overpay to me as well. I hope he lives up to that. It could be one of those moves where in 2 years Max Christie balls out, and then it's like, wow, they only paying him $8 million. So hoping for that. But as of right now, I think it's an overpay. Bronny getting $2 million as the 55th overall pick seems like a lot to me. $2 million a year, but I wouldn't just say it's like a terrible offseason. I more would say it was disappointing. And the Lakers have such a small window to win now, being one of the older teams in the NBA, one of the oldest cores in the NBA. They should have done something and they didn't. Did I say anything wrong there?
I mean, the LeBron contract was really good to me because at the same time, it's a 1-and-1. So if he were to decide, play this year, and then he were to decide next year, retire, we wouldn't have to pay him $50 million.
Okay, that's good.
So that's one thing I like. If it was 3 years, 160, we would have had a fucking problem. Okay. But I am very happy that he took that deal, and I'm also very happy that he took $3 million off, which leaves us below the second apron. So now we're able to make a trade. But at the same time, free agency's been shit. Let's be real. It's been bad. We missed out on some people. I ain't going to name them because fuck them.
Man, there's too many.
I think we're 0-8 right now.
Too many to name.
We're 0-8, but we still have a chance to do something now. Kind of. Still have a chance to get somebody.
Who?
I don't know.
Darius Garland.
I don't know, but I'm gonna leave it open right now. It is going bad right now, but I'm gonna leave it open.
That's why I put you guys at 3 because I wouldn't necessarily say it was if I had to grade it, I'd probably say bad, but not awful. It was more disappointing than anything.
I blame California taxes.
Well, no, I know you said that about Klay last week, but I also saw something where Klay said he didn't go to the Lakers because he wanted a fresh start, and the Lakers were too similar to that. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, what's your first team on your list?
The first team on my list, and it's not too bad, but I still have them on here because I didn't like what they did. I got the Golden State Warriors here. Now, I know.
I don't like this one.
You don't like this one?
I don't like this one, but
why?
You talk about it first, and then I'll explain what I think.
Okay. Now, the only reason why I'm a little iffy on it is because you lost Klay it was either second-round picks or Kyle Anderson. You didn't get Paul George, but you added Buddy Hield, you added DeAnthony Melton, and you added Kyle Anderson, which is pretty good because Kyle Anderson's 6'9", can rebound, play make. and somewhat shoot, but it takes him like 10 seconds. But it's not too bad, which is why I have them like pretty low. And if you look at it too, like you said, I didn't think there were too many losers this year. I didn't think there were too many. But losing Klay Thompson for that amount was it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I feel like you could have traded him for at least a first round pick or something. 2 seconds. I didn't like that.
I agree with that, but like I just personally feel like Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, and Melton are better than Klay Thompson. Like I would rather have those 3 players on my team than Klay Thompson on my team. Especially with the issues they had last year where it kind of felt like the only person on that team could create. Now you have 3 the only person on that team that could create was Steph Curry. Now you have 3 players on the team that can create. Yeah. Even if they're not like Klay Thompson level creators. But I'd rather have 3 dudes that could put up a couple points a game than one dude who's going to be up and down.
Yeah, like I said, like we all knew they were going to lose either Klay Thompson or a combination of Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, Chris Paul, something like that. But the way they lost him, I feel like you still could have gotten an amount out of it. Like, I didn't like the second picks thing. I just wish you could have gotten more. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Between Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, and Andrew Wiggins, you think they made the right choice of losing Chris Paul and Klay?
Honestly, without a doubt, getting rid of Chris Paul was probably pretty good. I don't know if that money is still on their
books
or not since they waived him. I don't know what the rules are with that.
They probably have to pay him, or maybe not because the Spurs signed him so quick.
Yeah, so
I don't know if they have to pay him.
Maybe they're good, but I mean now that gave them so much space to sign other people, and they still have a lot of room, which is why I'm saying it's not too bad because they can still make a trade for Lauri Markkanen, a player like Brandon Ingram, a player like they could still make a huge trade and not let it not affect them financially that bad, which is why I'm saying it's not too bad that they're on number 3 on this list. But I still feel like losing Klay for like just not the amount I was thinking was a bad move.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would classify it kind of in the Lakers sense where I wouldn't say it's like awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're the Warriors. You want to contend, and maybe they didn't make the best moves to necessarily do that. They made some moves where I feel more confident in them next year than I did last year. But with that being said, yeah, I agree with you there.
I do like the projected lineup because this is my guess on what they could do with starters. I did point guard Stephen Curry, shooting guard Buddy Hield, small forward Jonathan Kuminga, power forward Draymond Green, and center Trace Jackson Davis, with DeAnthony Melton being the 6th man. And I was talking. Oh, my bad.
I like it. That's it. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, my bad. But I like that combination, so I feel like they really could contend with this. But I do, like I said, I just wish they could have traded Klay for a little better player or get Paul George because I feel like Paul George with Draymond Green is nuts.
I think I would slide Draymond to the 5 and start Wiggins.
Ooh.
Wiggins and Kuminga.
I low-key want him coming off the bench, bro, because his defense is it's not good.
Wiggins?
Yeah, it slid. Like, he was A's when he first got to the Golden State Warriors.
Playoff Wiggins run was special.
Oh, yeah. He was an A. Like, did you know that when he was with the Timberwolves, he was an F with defense?
Yeah, I think he was like one of the worst in the league.
He was the worst in the league. He got to the Warriors. He was A's. And then last year, he was a C. So he really fell.
He slid. But, hey, he could always get back to that. It's like Wiggins is, like, old. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next year. My next team is a little weird. So I put the Raptors on here.
Oh, explain. Okay.
They locked down IQ and Scotty Barnes for the next 5 years. IQ 5-year 175 and Scotty 5-year 224. And that's good at like locking down your young players. But I put them in the losers because I don't think Emmanuel Quickley and Scotty Barnes is a young core that like makes me feel like they could win a championship down the line. It like I would be utterly shocked if Emmanuel Quickley and Scotty Barnes led this team to a championship. And those are the 2 guys you lock down. I like adding Davion Mitchell, but I just don't feel like this team has like a real direction. And I feel like that's where teams end up losing out. So I don't know. What do you think about that? That might be a weird take, but
it's not a weird take, bro, because if you really do look at this Toronto Raptors lineup, like after everything, it doesn't look that good. It does not. Like Scotty Barnes, yes, locking him up, that's a good move. Like he's really good. So locking him down, it's perfect. Emmanuel Quickley, I love him. He's a really good player. But also you got to think, could that be like an Austin Reeves type thing? with the Lakers? Like, do you think that was too much or too little? Do you feel like he could actually make an impact to give you a run to the playoffs, maybe in the championship? Which is why I'm not hating it. I do like the pickups they got in the draft, Jamal Shedd, Jonathan Magbo, guys like that. But at the same time, this seems like a farming team right now.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
So spending this money,
it doesn't work for me. It's like with IQ and Scotty, for me, your ceiling is probably like a 4 seed, but you'd have to add a lot of really fucking good role players to make that a 4 seed. Like in the next 5 years, I don't think they'll ever be better than the Celtics. I don't think they'll ever be better than Philly. I don't think they'll ever be better than New York.
Miami.
Maybe Miami. And we'll talk about Miami in a bit. But
oh, damn.
Those are just like, I don't know. Like there's a lot of good teams in the East that I don't think they'll be better than like Indiana. Mm-hmm. Like I just don't see like the upside with this team.
No, I understand. That's a fair take. That's a fair take when I think about it now. I didn't think to put them on this list because I was kind of like, they seem like they're in a rebuild with Scotty Barnes. So I was like, whatever with it. I'm just going to let it ride out. Next year is where I was going to be like, if there's still the same stuff going on, then we got a problem.
And you know me, I love Scotty, but it's just like next year I probably see them being in the same range they were this year. And it's like if you're going to spend $400 million in the offseason, like you should be picking up players that are going to like elevate your team or like super good young guys. But like locking your stars down is cool. But IQ and Scotty aren't Shaq and Kobe. Yeah. You know? And that's just how I feel.
That is not a bad take at all.
What's your next team?
Whew. Let me rub Batman real quick.
Hey.
Let me get some little detective work going in real quick. Number 2.
Damn.
I got this fucking team. Because this shit was disrespectful. The Los Angeles Flippers.
Phil got like a page and a half.
This was ridiculous, bro. No, I'm gonna talk about this shit because I've been listening to Flippers fans going crazy about it, talking all this shit about Paul George. You guys lost him for nothing. And did you watch his podcast? Did you hear the way he talked about contract negotiations?
He's kind of pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm with the Clippers on this.
No.
You talk about it and then I'll talk.
No.
About it. I'm with the Clippers in this. I'm not gonna lie.
Now I understand. If it was a whole thing with the whole, he wanted the same contract as Kawhi or he wanted more than Kawhi. But this man has been the most healthiest out of the two duos, and he's been there. You should at least give him some credit. If he wants the same contract as Kawhi, even though they averaged the same amount of shit, except Kawhi was more efficient, give him the same or like a little bit million less than Kawhi. And the way these negotiations went with offering him a new contract, the start of the season, the first offer they gave him was a 2-year, $60 million deal. 2 years, $60 million. That's
disrespectful.
2 years, $60 million for your second best player? That's like us giving 80 a 2 year, $60 million. So he's obviously like, nah, I ain't taking that. Next, did not offer the same deal to Kawhi, which was considered less. Because Kawhi got his deal during the season, the extension. I forgot how much it was. But I think it was like a 3-year, 150. It was something like that. They gave him extra money. Who cares?
3-year, 150.
All right.
Put it on the nose.
PG never wanted more than Kawhi. He said that during the season. But after, when he finished healthily, he wanted that contract still. So they finally offered him a 3-year, 150. And you're thinking, oh, he's probably going to take it. The reason why he didn't take that shit, and let me remind you, he wanted to be a flipper for life. They wanted him to be a flipper for life. So if you're telling him you want him to be a flipper for life, why do you not give him a no-trade clause? He was willing to take the deal, 3-year, 150, if you gave him a no-trade clause. So you said no to him. And then he's thinking, oh, okay, if you're thinking of trading me, then I might as well ask for a 4-year, $212 million deal. Because it's only fair. If you're thinking of trading him, give him some money, and you won't even have to pay him. You could trade him to another team and they could pay him. You didn't want to do that. You didn't want to do that either. So now, during that offseason, I guarantee you Joel Embiid and the front office for the Sixers were talking to him. They wanted to give him the deal, and they did. They gave him a 4-year, $212 million deal, the exact deal he asked the Flippers for. You could have given him that no-trade clause for 3 years. Why are you willing to trade him over Kawhi? This is the shit that I'm annoyed with, bro. I don't understand. Like, I know Kawhi won 2 chips before him. I know that when he got to the Flippers, he was playing better that first year, and then like it just overpowered him over PG. But PG's been there. He played 76 games this season. You can't give him a no trade clause? Like, what? That's disrespectful, bro. That is disrespectful. PG has been there since day one. Day one. He's been playing every game. He played the play-in game when they lost to the Timberwolves. They almost made it. He's been playing playoff games. He's played more playoff games than Kawhi in a Flippers jersey. I wouldn't want to treat AD like that. Even if he got injured, I wouldn't even treat AD like that. That's some bullshit. I'm being for real.
I'm not going to debate with you. You could. I'll let you have that.
I'm just saying for real. How would you feel if you want to be on this, if you want to be with OKC? Like, imagine me and you, we balling out, we going crazy.
Terms.
Oh,
podcast.
Real terms? Okay.
Podcast.
Okay. Real terms. I'm sorry.
Okay, but this is my whole thing, right?
All right, let's hear it.
If producers paying us, right?
Yeah.
And
Bro, I'm not even getting paid.
if producers paying us, and if during
Say it to the mic.
if during the podcast you said, "Oh, Anthony's my number one, I'm his number 2," why would Deucer pay you the same amount he's paying me if it's coming out of his pockets?
I understand that. But you telling me, wait. So,
because that's what Paul George said. Paul George said Kawhi's the number one, I'm the number 2.
yeah, Kawhi's number one, I'm number 2. That's the mindset. But statistic-wise, how did they finish?
I agree with you.
They had the same exact stats, except Kawhi was more efficient. But let's remember, he played less games, and then he didn't play the whole playoff series. Again,
I agree with you.
he missed 2 playoff series, and then when he comes back, he plays 1 game and didn't come back at all. So I'm just like, you're willing to risk it for that guy instead of a guy who's been to every playoff series except for the Suns one, but that's the only one.
If I'm gonna keep it a buck, I agree with you there where they kind of fumbled Paul George, but I do like a lot of the role players they got, and I know you got them listed there.
Oh yeah, my bad.
I do feel like they got a lot of good. I feel like the problem with a lot of NBA teams, it's like you want a Paul George and Kawhi, you don't want a Kawhi and a good role players. But how did Kawhi win the ring? You had Pascal Siakam, who wasn't a star at the time. You had Marc Gasol. You had Kyle Lowry. You had Danny Green. You had Fred VanVleet coming off the bench. Like, you have to build teams like that, bro. It's not – this superstar shit don't work unless you have KD, Steph Curry, and Klay. It don't work like that anymore.
I want to agree with that. I do. Like, they got Nicholas Batum back. They added Mo Bamba. They got Mo Bamba. They got Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., excellent pickup, and Kevin Porter Jr., even though I hate that man for what he did. But, hey, basketball talent is there. But anyways.
And they keep Harden, too.
Keep Harden, too.
Keep Westbrook, right?
They're going to trade him soon. Denver.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I did see that. I want that so bad, bro.
That'd be tough. That'd be
that
funny,
so
too.
fucking bad.
But the only problem I have is with the Toronto Raptors, like, Kawhi was going nuts and he was healthy. With the Flippers right now, that man is clearly not healthy. His legs are shot. His legs are done. And that pains me to say because he's one of my favorite players. Seeing that they're prioritizing that over PG a little bit is kind of sickening to me. Because what if he gets injured? You have all these role players, but what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And now they don't got Paul George if he goes down. So James Harden's got to step up. If Russell Westbrook,
Harden don't do that shit. James Harden don't step up never.
So then you got to ask these role players right here. Maybe Kevin Porter Jr. can wake up and do something for him, but like you're really gonna have to ask guys to step up at this point. Like you're really gonna have to.
Yeah.
And that's just my problem with it. It's just you had him. You said no to a 3-year 150, but you didn't want to give him a no trade clause. That's all he wanted.
I feel like the no trade clause thing is kind of dumb though, because like I feel like we've seen deals get fucked over no trade clauses, like Bradley Beal shit. And I want to say Westbrook had one too, but I feel like teams just kind of get hurt through no trade clauses. Like you get fucked because now it's like you only have a select options. When like if Paul George wants to, he could sit the rest of a year, you know, and you can't really do nothing about it because you have to abide by what he wants. So yeah, I agree. They probably should have paid him another year, but then you're paying a 38-year-old Paul George $50 million, like.
Well, I mean, Kawhi playing like a 50-year-old.
But when Kawhi plays, he's Kawhi.
Yeah, when he plays.
And that's the only issue. I feel like at 38, like, and it's not like Paul George has been the most healthy player either. You know?
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So it's like health shouldn't be a conversation when we're comparing the two because they both always get hurt.
But he's played more playoff games and he finished the game with 76 games. I mean, he finished playing 76 games.
I know last year, but I just feel like you can't judge it off of 1 year because Kawhi had a championship run. You know,
I don't know, man.
That's just how I feel.
No, I feel you.
You talk about your number one, and then I'll talk about mine.
All right, let's get it. This team, I feel like, should be the most talked about. I know the Lakers have been talked about. We low-key deserve it. But this team, the mismanagement on their stars has been ridiculous, and that's the Chicago Bulls. This is ridiculous to me. You lost DeMar DeRozan to the Kings for a second-round pick. You lost Andre Drummond for nothing. And then you traded Alex Caruso, that you've been trying to get at least 2 first-round picks for Josh Giddey. And you're stuck with Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine.
They're stuck with them?
They're
stuck. Trying to trade them.
They've been trying to trade them. They even said they were going to try to attach a first-round pick with Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine, but nobody wants to trade for them. And this is let me remind you, this is their potential lineup. Point guard, Kobe White. Sorry.
Cold.
Shooting guard, Zach LaVine. Small forward, Josh Giddey, because he wants to start. I'm just putting him there for now. Power forward, Patrick Williams. Center, Nikola Vucevic, who everybody hates, with 6-man being Ayo Dosunmu. That is not a good lineup.
I'm going to disagree.
That's a good lineup?
I think that's a play-in lineup. I'm not saying that's a contender, but I feel like the Bulls, I like them moving on from DeRozan, Caruso. I feel like they've taken the right steps to a full rebuild. They can't do it until they get Lonzo and LaVine gone, obviously. And I understand you're grading from this point of the offseason, but if they could get Lonzo and LaVine gone, then you have a real rebuild. And, like, as far as Caruso for Giddey goes, like, I know they wanted 2 first-round picks for Caruso, but Giddey's going to have a great year next year. Especially if LaVine and Lonzo are gone. I think Giddey's going to have a really good next year.
I don't know about this, bro, because with Giddey, with what the Bulls are trying to do, if I'm the coach and I'm trying to talk to Giddey, I need him to just rebound, pass the ball, and play some defense, and I don't think he can do that.
He can't play defense, but he can rebound and pass the ball actually very well. Very well.
I think he'll pass the ball well, but I don't know about rebounding with this team.
I mean, I think he could do it if he's getting the opportunities. He's a good rebounder for a guard.
I just don't
he
like the way
averaged 6 rebounds last year.
He averaged 6 rebounds.
And the year before that, he averaged 8.
That's a small ball unit, though. This one's a little bigger.
That's what I'm saying, though. But, like, you're not going to expect him to get 10 rebounds if he's playing with Vucevic.
Yeah. I don't want him to get 10 rebounds.
But you're expecting him to do his job. And if his job's to rebound, like, getting 6-5 rebounds at small forward, I feel like is good when you're playing next to a power forward and a center.
I know, but I need him to play some defense, though.
He's not going to do that.
That's the only problem I got with this, man.
I got a problem with that, and I agree.
Because if he's playing the forward over there, because they already have a whole bunch of guards and shooting guards, I don't know if you can play him at the – well, I mean, you probably could play him at the point guard a couple of times, but I'd rather have him try to play the 2 or the 3.
I would, too.
It's going to be complicated. So I don't know what the coach is going to do. I don't know what he's going to, like, what the identity he's going to try to instill into this team, but I think they're going to be lost next year, bro.
I think if you trade Zach LaVine, you play Giddey at the 1 and Kobe White at the 2.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
Just because I feel like I don't agree with you in the sense where, like, I think the main thing Giddey's going to have to work on if he wants to be successful, if he wants to be a cornerstone for the Chicago Bulls team, for them to have a future with him, he needs to be able to shoot the ball. And he hasn't been able to do that. But if you put the ball in his hand, and now you have, like, Kobe White around him who can shoot. Patrick Williams, he's not no knockdown shooter, but
honestly, he's not that bad.
He could shoot, but he's not like a shooter, you know?
Yeah.
Vucevic, he could shoot for a center, but they should probably move him too. But you got to put shooters around Giddey if you want him to be a cornerstone because he just hasn't been able to show. He shot 33% from 3 last year, 31 in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
I do like that, like they did let DeMar DeRozan do his thing, but at the same time, he was your best player. And I feel like they could have gotten way more value out of just getting a second-round pick.
I think he was going to go either way, and I don't know what he's really worth. I think you'd rather move him than get something back for him.
Well, he was going to stay, but then when they traded Alex Caruso, that was the final straw.
I think it's fine losing him, though, because I don't think you're going to win a ring with DeRozan and LaVine as your duo. I think you reset so you could get there eventually. I don't think like this core is going to win them a ring either with Giddey and Kobe White, but I think they're taking steps in the right direction to kind of blowing it up. That's why I wasn't mad at their offseason. Definitely, like, still having Lonzo and LaVine on your roster at this point is kind of disappointing. Mm-hmm. But they at least are setting a direction rather than being like a play-in team every year. Like, you're trying to tank so you could be good or you're trying to be good right away. But now or last season, it's kind of just like we're cool being the 9 seed.
I just wish they could have gotten some first-round picks, man. At least, like, one.
But DeRozan's what, 37?
Well, not just for DeRozan, for Caruso and Drummond.
I don't think they're worth first, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what they were asking
I think
for.
I think getting Josh Giddey is like getting a first-round pick. Josh Giddey was the 5th overall pick in his class.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like not only getting a first-round pick, you're getting a top 5 player. You know, DeRozan's just old. I don't think he's worth a first. But let me talk about I guess my number one spot's these 3 teams.
All right, let's hear it.
And the reason I put them all together is I couldn't really pick one over the other because I feel like all 3 of these teams did the exact same fucking thing this offseason, and it was absolutely nothing. Like, if you want to say the Lakers had a disappointing offseason, the Nuggets, the Heat, and the Bucks, I felt like had really disappointing offseasons. As far as, like, free agency goes, I think the best move all 3 teams did is the Heat drafting Kelly Ware. But, like, the Nuggets didn't add anyone and lost KCP. The Heat lost Cody Martin, who was huge for their team, and added Alec Burks. And the Bucks, all they did was add Taurean Prince. You know, out of these 3 teams, like, that's what the Clippers added more players than these 3 teams did combined. And I just think, like, the Nuggets needed to keep KCP, and they lost him, and they didn't do anything in free agency to replace that. So now it's like Peyton Watson or Christian Braun is going to have to, like, step up big.
Now, I could see the Bucks one. It's just with the Nuggets and Heat, they've shown us that they still perform, like, very well with their starting 5. So losing Caleb Martin, it was actually Caleb Martin. Cody Martin's on the Hornets.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. But with losing him, I feel like they low-key had to because they're in the second apron, and they would have had to pay him at least, like, 10 or 11. They would have had to give him a Gabe Vincent contract. And I low-key don't mind it because they kept Haywood Highsmith. They kept a lot of their guys who were a little bigger. And they have a little more opportunity to let Scary Terry do his thing. I think it makes room for them. So I don't know if it's, like, that big of, like, a hit on them.
I don't know if it makes room, though, because I feel like both these teams needed to make, like, moves. Like, respectfully, bro, like, as much as, like, playoff Jimmy's fun and it's cool, it's like I wouldn't put this Heat team in the top 10 next year. You know, and it's like you want to be in there while you have Jimmy and Bam. The Bucks, I wouldn't put. I mean, maybe I put the Bucks at 10, at 9, but I don't believe in the Bucks at all next year. I don't think they're a real contender next year. The Nuggets, it's hard to argue against the best player in the world.
Yeah,
but like, it's hard to win a championship when you're having to start a cone in either like Julian Strawther and Christian Brown and Peyton Watson. You know, and I've talked high about Christian Watson. I mean, about Christian Watson's a football player. About Christian Brown before. But it's just like, realistically, like, I think he's a good bench piece to have. He's not a starter in the NBA right now. So I just felt like these 3 teams needed to do more, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything.
That's one thing that is going to bother me a little bit because I do not like Christian Braun that much. I think he is overrated, and people were trying to call him the next Alex Caruso for the Nuggets. He doesn't play anything like Alex Caruso. Let's be for real. His defense is too jittery.
His defense is average. I like him as a shooter.
Yeah. Like, he'll be a pretty decent spot-up shooter for them like KCP, but his defense is not going to be there. But I do like that they did add DeRon Holmes. I feel like that's something that they low-key needed because their backup was DeAndre Jordan for Nikola Jokic. Having DeRon Holmes maybe be that backup, but then they signed Dario Saric. So if they could get something going where they could have a little rotation, because obviously they're going to start Dario Saric a little bit more than DeRon Holmes, but if they can warm up DeRon Holmes into that role, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they could get their little role going.
I think they're going to be good again, but I can't put them in the same tier as the Celtics anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're better than them. I'd probably take Dallas over them now.
Like, we can't talk about OKC, bro. OKC's dangerous, man.
Philly, I think, is better than the Nuggets next year. Like, those are 4 teams that I would take. Probably New York, too, honestly.
Philly ain't even done yet. That's the scary part.
They're good, bro. That's what I'm saying. So, Denver, Miami, Milwaukee, you should have done more, especially with a lot of these teams doing a lot this offseason. We're going to talk about the winners in a bit in a different video, but I have like 5 honorable mentions. Like, that's how good a lot of teams
that was me too.
Were. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Let us know at home.
Yes,
winners,
sir.
Losers. Thank you guys for that banger video once again. Phil, Say your line, brother.
Hey, let's add another banger to that one, bro. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Playbook Sports at Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to prefer. But make sure to ring that bell. We out.
Bow.